Colleen credits her modern coastal home for her family's renewed appreciation for space and quiet. A stone's throw from the ocean, there isn't an inch of landscape, shoreline, or gazebo they don't enjoy to the fullest. But first, we'll visit Joachim, whose isolated waterside cottage embodies his free-thinking values. Locally sourced and developed with purpose, the free-flow design invites all who enter to connect. Water, deep, flowing, mysterious, ever-changing yet constant, the inspiration of artists and adventurers. It's the foundation of life. We are drawn to it, to watch it, listen to it, immerse ourselves, and for those who choose, to live beside it.
My uncle came to Nova Scotia and fell in love with the shoreline. It was a place where he could relax and enjoy. He had a dream to build this place. He was an architect originally. We used a local architect and he started to design what he wanted as his dream home. My wife and I kind of took care of the place for the last 10 years. And so the opportunity came where he was like, okay, I'm done with it, it's time to sell. And so he sold it to us. We were ecstatic to have that opportunity to buy this space and 7 acres of land around it. It's wonderful. My wife's family's from the area, so it's kind of fun that we can be part of this shoreline. And the great thing too is my parents own a cottage just down the road. My sister owns one now, so it's becoming a little bit of a family space where we can still be together with our kids. They love coming down here with their friends because it's magical. You don't get to see that kind of ocean and the shoreline, and that gives a great opportunity for our family to be doing the outdoor activities that we so much enjoy. We're very fortunate because the cottage didn't need a lot of work, some painting, some work on the deck, you know, just the basic upkeep of a property. It wasn't used a lot. When my uncle was designing this, he really wanted to find natural products from around the area. The stone is local. The post and beam is local. We imported some stuff in from Western cedar for the siding of the house, some Douglas fir, some elm. The majority of the whole concept was to keep it as natural and as local as possible. The architect and my uncle, when they built it, was looking for a very clean, simple concept. When you walk into our space, you see the beautiful staircase. The neat thing about the staircase is the railings match the outdoor railings. The glass is with chicken wire in it. That matches the chicken wire glass in the shelving. There's a really continuity of the flow of the house. The concrete floors goes back to that concept of what is natural in the area that matches with the stone on the fireplace. As you step down into the living room, you'll notice that the flooring is Douglas fir and adds a nice color richness. And then the cabinets around the space, custom made from a local woodworker in the area. So again, it's that concept of localness that is so important. But then the beauty is the windows are so spectacular in this space because the whole side of the house is one window. And the whole concept was the master bedroom would be on the front of the house away from the water, which is counterintuitive, but wanted to have the opportunity for people to sit outside as long as they wanted. The master bedroom has a little deck off the front, king-size bed with its own bathroom. The interesting thing there is there's no door on the bathroom. The door is actually in the bedroom. So again, that European concept of very openness within the space. As you come back downstairs and you enter the basement, that's kind of our kids area. There's a pool table, ping pong table. And the nice thing about that is that they can have their friends and have a place where they can just hang out and not feel that they need to be part of this if they don't want to be. My favorite room is the dining room, even if it's just my wife and I having breakfast together. My parents immigrated from Holland. It's just me and my sister. So Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner was the four of us. Now that we have kids and now I have my wife's family, dinners are now 12, 16 people. That to me is what family's about, and that's the exciting part. It's just a place where people can gather. And I think in this day and age, we don't gather enough anymore. We don't sit around the table and just enjoy a conversation and enjoy our space and enjoy the people. When you come in, the driveway is an epic driveway. As you drive, you dip down, and then you kind of launch into the parking spot. And so you're launching into the space, launching into the house, pushing you naturally into the front deck. So we have a side deck, which is great for an outdoor kitchen. And then the front deck, which is more about the fireplace, the place to collect and gather, from doing yoga to sitting in a hammock. All those are endless possibilities. And so that adds a whole other living room within the space. A feature that I think people miss on this space is the chimney actually flows through the roof to match the outdoor fireplace and the indoor fireplace. So that adds again to that continuity of the flow from the inside all the way to the outside. So it's those little things, those little details that the architect and my uncle really wanted to share, was that flow. The big thing when you step outside is you're looking at the ocean. When you're standing on the deck, you're probably about 40 to 50 feet off the ocean at high tide. When we've had a rain, you can hear the waterfall hitting the ocean floor. It creates a sensory overload, almost of peacefulness, with the water and the waterfall combining together. Every tide is a different experience, from bald eagles flying through to people walking on the shoreline. That's what creates the magic of the space. You could be sitting there reading a book and you see 5 kayakers go by, or a fishing boat, but at low tide, people are walking where they were just boating. When our kids were young, we had this trail that we wanted them to do because it was a nice, not even a kilometer trail. And so what we ended up starting to do is we just hid gnomes through the trails, and then the kids would try to find them. Fast forward to them being 19 and 16, when they bring their friends, all their friends are like, we got to go to the gnome woods. Sorry to keep bringing this up, but it's back to the flow. It's about the way that you walk, or where you're walking on this property. You are higher than the water. And then you understand the power of the water when you're down below. We're very fortunate to have the space where you enter into this openness. Day starts with us making a cup of coffee, making a cup of tea for April, flow into the dining room, and then from the dining room into the living room. If the weather's great, then I will definitely go outside and sit there and listen to the waves and listen to the waterfall. From there, it's breakfast time or go for a walk. That adds that magic to this space, and it's a good way to clear the head and start the day. Both my wife and I can work down here, which makes life a lot easier. It allows for us to focus much better with the fresh air and no ambulances driving by. And then the nice thing in the afternoon, if it's summertime, we can go for a swim or go for a stand-up paddleboard. Those kind of things add to the element of being able to be part of nature and work in nature. As someone who appreciates nature, I think we've lost our connection to food. We've lost our connection to where things come from. You go to the grocery store and you see a packaged meat, you've lost the connection to what that took for that to get here. It's very easy to harvest an animal with a rifle. So last year I started bow hunting. I have not yet harvested an animal with a bow, which I'm excited about this year. That's why I love this space, because it allows me to hunt, to harvest an animal, bring it home, butcher it up so that I'm providing food on the table, which is way more sustainable. We can get clams on the shoreline, we can get sea bass, we can get a lot of stuff out of the ocean also to provide food for the home. The beauty about the waterfall we have that drips right off our property essentially is that it's gorgeous to see from the shore, see the waterfall and see our place. For us, living by the water is a way of grounding the family, eliminating the chaos. That's the magic for me anyways, and for the family as a whole. This deck on the side here will eventually be our proper outdoor kitchen, because the flow through to go out here is so nice versus out front where the fireplace is and the sitting area is. When we retire here, we'll get a better sense of what's missing and what we need. The beauty is that we're on 7 acres, that if the kids want to build here, there is room for them to build. It's their journey, their space also, so we want to make sure that it's inviting to them always. It's an interesting shoreline because there's not a lot here, but more and more people we're starting to meet are moving down here. We have a lovely couple down the road from New York, fascinating and wonderful musicians. We have another gentleman who takes care of all the properties down here. He's a handyman. The great thing about down here is that people in my demographic are moving down here from the city, so we're starting to build a community here. I think people are attracted to living by the water for the magic. From when Mother Nature is angry, to the waves, to the wind, to when it's glass calm. Those are a changing view that we have on a day-to-day basis here. I don't think we would ever leave here. Though saying that, my wife and I love the mountains and the magic of the mountains. We spent a lot of time when we were younger in the mountains. So our dream would be 6 months in either place, kind of living here, but the ocean is the ocean.
I grew up in the town, but as a child, my mother always took us to the beach. So the beach has always been a happy place for me. My husband and I were together since high school. At one point, we were on his four-wheeler. He took me through the woods and showed me this property, and we went out to the edge of the property looking at the water, and he said, someday I would like to build my house here. And I thought to myself, well, this is a beautiful place to build a house. We always knew that we would eventually like to live in this community, and we knew we wanted to have children someday and raise our children close to their grandparents. So we knew that eventually we would like to build a property in this area. We just weren't sure where. This property was originally owned by my husband's grandfather, and his uncle had inherited it. When my husband and I were ready to build, he approached his uncle to ask if he could buy a piece of the property, and his uncle offered it to us for $1. When we decided to build our home, we had lots of books and design ideas, and we knew we wanted to have lots of windows in the house to take advantage of the view. And so we had hired a local architect to help us with the house design. We had an idea of the plan. He changed some things in the plan, which we were very happy with, of things we would never have thought of on our own. My husband fishes lobster, snow crab, and bluefin tuna as well. Our fishing boat is located at our harbor right next to our property. We can see our boat from our living room window. My favorite part of the house is definitely the windows and how the windows were placed and designed to take advantage of our view and our property. As we walk through the porch into the hallway, the living room opens up to 17-foot ceilings, and with the view over the water that we can see the local harbor. The living room is my favorite room because this is where we congregate the most. I wanted the A-frame style house with the A-frame windows facing the water because I knew this is where we'd spend the most time in. I was really excited to build the fireplace. The price of bluefin tuna was high the year we built, so it ended up we were very fortunate and we built that in addition. With a fireplace, with the windows, with the view. Wanted it beautiful in the summer and cozy in the wintertime. And then to the right, we have the kitchen and dining room area. It's fairly open with lots of windows to take advantage of the view and the sunlight. I wanted a kitchen that was large. I knew we wanted to have children and I knew that I wanted it to be a busy household. Originally in the plan, we did have a bit of a peninsula in the kitchen, and when we were in the middle of building the house, the carpenter had felt when we came in the patio door, it might be a little crowded, so we did swap that out in the middle of the build. My favorite place to relax would be the gazebo. I did have a local designer come in and help me just to kind of give me some advice on some of the items I already had and how to place them, or, you know, a couple things that I might need. And she came in and she called it modern coastal theme. When you arrive at our driveway, you can't see our house from the road. I always appreciate seeing the water as soon as I make the turn in the driveway. It's a yellow A-framed house, and then there's 2 wings on each side of the home. And we have a deck on the side with a gazebo built, and we also built a garage. Off to the side, we have vegetable gardens. We also have laying hens that lay eggs for us. We have 4-wheeler trails around the property that our kids have built. The gazebo we didn't build until years later. We wanted a little extra outdoor space where there was, you know, no flies, bugs, but kind of be like a 3-season room. Honestly, I think my gazebo is probably my favorite place to spend time. When you travel down to our wharf, you can see our house, looking at it up on the cliff. I always do appreciate it from that view. When the designer had designed the house, one of the challenges I had was trying to have the A-frame windows facing the water, but we were driving into the other side of the house, so I wanted, when we drove into the house, to not look like the back of a house. So the designer changed the roof, changed a bit of the exterior on that side, so that when you drive into the house, it doesn't look like the back of a house. My favorite view from the house would definitely be sitting out on the deck, sitting in a chair and just sitting, listening to the trees and the birds and looking out over the water. We're very fortunate to have access to the beach from our property, so we spend a lot of time down there in the summer. We leave our beach furniture down on the beach, chairs, tables, umbrellas, so it's easy just to scoot down and have a cup of coffee in the morning. We spend a lot of time down there in the summer. People are attracted to living near the water, I think, because no matter what water you're looking at, if it's ocean, lake, a pond, a river, whether it's the sound of it, the sight of it, everyone finds peace in that. When we built, it's 17 minutes from our town, so we are a little bit in the country, and the 17-minute drive was definitely an adjustment for me, but I've learned to love the drive, to wind down after a day of work, and just to know that what you're driving to is going to be worth the drive. So even when we make 2-3 trips to town a day, you know, running the kids to their sports and activities, I still think it's worth it. My favorite part of living on the water is going to the beach, whether it's just walking the beach with the dog, looking for sea glass along the shore, spending time at the beach with the kids, swimming, hanging out with friends, bonfires in the evening. Free time for us is tending to our vegetable garden. We love picking at the garden. We love to plant flowers, trimming bushes. We love maintaining our landscaping. We have laying hens in our chicken coop. We have eggs every day, so we go out with our basket, collect our eggs in the morning, feeding the chickens. There's something peaceful about that, and seeing them peck around the property and eating the grass. There's something to be said about that, living in the country. Mark, my husband, was the harbor master at our local wharf for the past 7 or 8 years. He has a telescope, so he always kept a close eye on all activities at the wharf, especially in the evenings if there was traffic down there that wouldn't be normal. So it was nice seeing that from the house. Many people that come to visit, when we sit and enjoy the view, wherever it may be, comment on how peaceful it is and how they'd like to come down here to spend a day staring at the water. Some people call it, they feel like they're at a retreat at times when they're looking out over the water. My daughter and I, my mother, took a trip to New York City, and by the time we got back from New York City, I could not wait to pull in this driveway and have peace and quiet and space. I didn't appreciate the space until I came home from New York. We built the house 18 years ago, and since we've had 3 children, so our hardwood floors have certainly taken a beating with 3 kids and a dog. Eventually, as the kids start to move out, we'll probably refinish our hardwood floors, but right now it certainly adds a lot of character to our house. I would like to update my kitchen a little bit, paint my cupboards, maybe some new countertop and backsplash, but other than that, we're quite content with everything. Concept of home means, to me, it's where your family gravitate to. It's your home base, where you have your company, where you make your memories with holidays and just your everyday grind of going to work, getting the kids out the door for school. I mean, this is where you live. When we built the house, we actually designed it that everything that we would need as we age would be on the main level, including the main bedroom, laundry room, washroom. There is only 2 steps to get into the house, so it would be easy to build a ramp. We would absolutely never leave this place unless we physically had to. I think living here in the water, I have never taken it for granted at how fortunate we are to have the property and to be able to live here and work very close to the water as well. I would never take that for granted, and we're very grateful.
Whether nestled alongside a riverbank or perched high above a distressed ocean, living on the shore has its perks. But beautiful views are only the beginning. The sights, sounds, and sensations of the water are constant in their impact, improving moods, perspectives, and lives. To exist and grow on its edge is extraordinary, an experience made even sweeter when shared with the people we love.